We're kicking off Thursday with a video about the best counters for the Cavalier Difficulty. Make sure to check out the link in the description that's got the Cavalier cheat sheet, which, if you know, it's just a name, really. It just shows you the best champions for the paths, which has a tab at the bottom of the Google spreadsheet or Google Drive sheet thing. Boss breakdowns and then a miss encounters section, so you can just have like some options for taking on those three things that we seem to pop up, and auto block as well. I should rename that one. This month is a very straightforward month. There does seem to be like a huge amount of ball ache when it comes to the bosses, and there's some good counters to take on some of them as well. So kicking off with the path of 1.1, Cosmic Champions are key. Cosmic Grit, Pumping Iron. Options for champions: Hyperion, Corvus, Odin, Angela, Super Scroll, Hercules, you name it. There's a whole plethora of champions to use that are cosmic and do stuff. Hyperion, great champion. I'm going to do a few Cavalier kind of interaction-based videos at some point, just kind of like showcase, hey, these champions slay this particular content. They're probably going to be treated as stream highlights, so come on by to the streams whenever I'm going to do one. I think I might do a stream today, actually, here on YouTube, so look out for that. The boss is Red Guardian. Red Guardian has the weak link. While the defender is suffering from a weakness or disorient debuff, the attacker deals burst damage and physical damage on all basic attacks equal to 100% of their attack. Well, that, to be honest, I didn't really kind of worry too much about that one. It was more about Super Buffet. That's probably the main thing to point out with that. And it's up to you how you want to approach this. You could either go with champions that are able to do heal block in order to suppress the regen elements of Super Buffet. Or you could go down the Spider-Man 2099 Red Guardian route with that particular one. So it's just up to you, like how you want to play it. I personally would recommend those. I did try kind of going, oh, let's just play about with, I don't know, some Mystic Champions. But to be honest, I think this is a very straightforward boss, and it's up to you how you want to kind of approach this and take this on. But there was just some options. Up now is 2.2, and in 2.2 is Power Technician. This is all about your tech champions. Champions that are good for this, that build an armor up buff very quickly. Not to say these are the absolute best champions, because there are other champion options as well. This is all about quick building of armor up buffs, just to kind of, you know, make this situation better. Nimrod, which was recently, well, I say recently, we're coming into a year since it's been introduced, is a great tech for this particular interaction. But you've got Ultron on that fourth block attack. Howard the Duck. Kang, if you want. Guardian, that's a good one. Warlock, that's my favourite option. Silver Warrior, easy rotation. Hulk Bust, again, easy. And to name, you know, there's so many more to name on that, but there's a good chunk of them. The final boss is Loki, and you've got Energize. I think that's the main thing to worry about. If you kind of don't focus too much on the other things, I mean, Counter-Strike, yeah, get a Dex, get a Fury buff. It's easy as that. But on the other side, what you do have to look out for is the extent of power building, and for this particular interaction, going for power control champions could be, you know, the better options, using the likes of Vision, if you have Vision, if you've got yourself Doctor Doom, Hawkeye, Penny Parker, anything in your roster that's got a power control option to it, an SP2 rotation with magic, anything that's got any kind of power lock function to it could be a really decent asset kind of going up against Loki. And that's where I kind of felt that the counters really need to be put into play. 2.1 time, and it's all about Punishment Glutton. This is all about your skill champions, and what are some of the best ones to look towards? Well, there's so many to name, but a few. One of my personal favourites is Black Widow Deadly Origin, and also you can look to Nick Fury. You can also look to Gwenpool, Squirrel Girl. Anything that has a quick to bleed type option to it is normally kind of like very good, because it's quick to damaging debuff side of things. But there's loads. There is literally loads. Critical hits with Jabari Panther. You've also got critical hits, bleeds and shocks the SP1 with Mole Man. The list goes on. The boss is Hela. Now, I did make a mistake in this one, and I thought I would be like really smart in the way I wanted to take this on, but it turns out I didn't need to be. I could just kind of like stick it to be very simple. So with Hela, she has, and a thing to kind of like mention first, because I think that is something that's not mentioned, is Haunted, which is when the defender dashes back, the attacker is faulted for 3 seconds. So basically, you're going to miss all those particular times with faulted. I would say it may be an idea to play around with miscounter champions like Professor X, Nick Fury, and Hercules, or anything that's on that side tab of miss and evade counters. That's something. But in all actuality, if you can get this champion right up against the wall on the defender side, you don't really need to worry too much about that haunted, a bit, as the champion doesn't really kind of like dash back that much. You can just kind of play that kind of aggressive rotation. But Nick Fury's good because if it is a case that I've got that thing about miss wrong, then you can just go to unblockable. Any champion that has unblockable in its nature and has a very kind of aggressive moveset can indeed kind of like help out in that particular interaction. I would say as well, anything that's got an unstoppable in their kit, like Magneto, which is kind of an interesting one because we've got also the second part of this, which is bulk up and heavy assault, where both champions' attack is increased by 500% when using a heavy attack, and while charging a heavy attack, the defender is unstoppable. Well, it doesn't really matter because Magneto is just going to be like aggressive in that kind of heavy attack and smash. There's also bulk up, so while the attacker is charging a heavy attack, they rapid gain fury effects. If you play it well, you can have a good rotation. I personally am a big fan of Doctor Doom in this one. Warlock can work in this one, even though it's kind of class disadvantage. Mr. Fantastic, Human Torch, anything that might rotate around doing a heavy attack could be quite good for this. Archangel I did try, but I was like, yeah, this may not be kind of like something that works as well. It does work, but you have to kind of like, again, play it close to being aggressive at the wall at the defender end. But yeah, bit of a sticky one. But yeah, as I said, do you when it comes to like counters or how to take this on, but there's just some options I mentioned. 2.2 sees us over to well, Seeing Red, and that's all about mutants. Best mutant champions, or some of the best mutant champions. A lot of mutant champions will do for this one effectively. But Iceman, Mega Red, Magneto, Colossus, Apoc, Old Man Logan. A lot of champions that interact with that kind of like bleed immunity, bleed restriction on damage, all that kind of stuff. And look, it does play into the node, but it's like sometimes I kind of prefer using that kind of like narrative of spin. But most, if not all, mutant champions do work for this. I just think some of the ones I mentioned on screen right now are some of the best ones to focus on, just because they get the job done and they do lots of damage in it. Now on to the boss, which is Mangog. He's a Gog of Man. He's got Power Shield, which is cool. That's a nice little thing to look out for. Persistent Pressure is probably the only issue in that Unstoppable. Just deal with Unstoppable. If you focus on champions that deal with that first, then you won't have any problems. Champions that either are unstoppable counters or nullifiers are the best way to go. Unstoppable counters, Shang-Chi, She-Hulk, Spider-Gwen, Cap Infinity War. Nullifiers, Mephisto, Doctor Doom, Black Widow, Clairvoyant. Again, there's loads out there. Sorcerer Supreme, Symbiote Supreme could be an option. You know, there's loads out there. So I don't need to tell you kind of like all the different counters to slow and stuff. But I kind of feel that's what you got to do. You got to either nullify the unstoppable or deal with it with slow, the slow debuff. So those are kind of like really kind of like, and Silver Centurion comes to mind about the unstoppable counter. So there's loads. 3.1 is Mystic Consumption. On Mystic Consumption, it's all about your Mystic champions. Of course it is. We got loads for you. Doctor Doom with a heavy attack. Nullify. As soon as you get Nullify. Positive stuff. Prowess. I love using my OG Scarlet Witch. Probably going to do a video on that. Symbiote Supreme with Null Shadow. Black Widow Clairvoyant with a Nullify. Sasquatch heavy attacks. Hood with critical hits. Heavy to refresh. Thor Jane Foster, recently buffed, an option. Lots of champion options to take on this and get that prowess and do big special attack damage. And over to the end boss. The end boss is Valkyrie. Valkyrie, I think in the champion's kit, you've only got to watch out for the stun immunity, which is, I believe, the Bulwark buff. But with that, there is stuff as well to look out for. Kinetic transference. Blocked attacks cause the defender to gain 7.5% power. Again, depends on the rotation, how you want to deal with this. If you stick the champion to an SP2, there is one projectile that comes off that one. And the SP1, again, it's important to watch out for it. But, you know, do you when it comes to like the extent of like how you plan to evade the special attacks that come at you. Or take on the power. You know, you could suppress the power with Penny Parker. You could deal with it with not Bishop. Well, Bishop could be good if you get yourself charged up with Incinerators. You could really smash off a load of damage. You could potentially use Human Torch, but I would probably say nah. Anyone with White Magneto, that's right, Wax could be a really good option. If Bulwark is all about kind of creating a stun immunity in the champion or a stun debuff immunity, then why don't you bring in a passive stun? It worked well with Doctor Doom, and I do recommend that with White Magneto if you have him to take to that end boss. I might be trying that in some other content as well, just to kind of create like a few like little videos. Like White Magneto literally kind of like helps kind of defeat. I don't know. I need to kind of decide that. I don't want to be burning all my units into energy refills. I got a sweet amount over 10k. I don't want to go back down again. But also watch out for Rooted, which is when the defender activates a SP1. SP2 within striking distance, the attack is passively rooted until the final hit of the attack. So watch out for that. That's the only thing I can really say about Warning. But yeah, maybe kind of look to interact with that. Play aggressively. Find champions that are able to suppress power more easily and go there. So you've got your, Hawkeye. I said about Vision. I said about Doctor Doom. Penny Parker. These could be really good options. White Magneto with Penny Parker. Possibly. That could be a cool interaction just to kind of like take down this champ. And finally 3.2. Now 3.2, this is actually the team on the left side that I used to do this. And Archangel for the end boss, as well as Path Clearers, which are, in shape and form of Immortal Abomination. Great. Abomination with Red Guardian. Hey, that's good. Human Torch. Cap with Cosmic and Tech, or Cap with She-Hulk. Mr. Fantastic. Mr. Fantastic in general. She-Hulk. The list goes on. Luke Cage. Anything that's got weakness debuff, Void. There's quite a few like fun little interactions there with ones to take this on, and yeah, with the end boss. Now with the end boss, there's not a huge amount to worry about with this. There's a few things here or there that could be a little bit kind of like of a concern. You've definitely got the opportunity or chance that you might get something like a debuff on you, and for whatever chance there's a debuff on you, Purified Champions will help interact. Warpath means that when the attacker purifies debuff, the defender gains a Fury passive, increasing attack by 25%. But if the attacker intercepts, all Fury passives are removed and the defender is inflicted with a degen debuff. You can look to play around with that if you kind of like want, but it's just a case of like the more you purify, the more you can interact. You could use something like, I don't know, Crossbones. I was thinking about using Crossbones, but I just thought, nah. But yeah, Crossbones, Mole Man, Misty Knight, to name but a few. Jabari Panther, intercepts with, well, I know, because that double down when you're doing Black Panther OG. Nah, I wouldn't say that. You could look to set for yourself to get debuffs on you and then reflect damage with Namor. It's an option. Doctor Doom, in any case, any champion that deals with buff suppression might be the way to go in any case, because champion gets buffs. What do you do with buffs? Suppress them. Morningstar, for example, can look to throw in a very powerful SP2 if the champion has a lot of buffs on them and do a lot of damage as a result. But with all their spells, easy fight with Archangel. It's just kind of like easy rotations of parry heavy, parry heavy, parry heavy. And yeah, stick to an SP1, and that's all she wrote. And it's a very kind of like easy fight and rotation. So yeah, look out for that. Good luck in your grind with your various options. Look out for special attacks. Make sure you're keeping plenty of distance. Watch out for projectiles in special attacks. And that's been it. Thank you very much for watching. Check out the spreadsheet in the link in the description. And I'll see you in a live stream later on. Also, content on screen right now. Go and check it out. There's lots of content. See the content. Do the content. And I think there's another video I'm going to post today. Cheers, everybody. Have a good one. Bye-bye.